Welcome all. This is Srimai Majumdar from Swami Vivekananda Institute of Modern Science. We have been discussing various chapters on business communication. At this moment, we shall be continuing with the second part 2 of listening, and we shall begin with how listening is connected to communication. There may be a very common question: why is listening connected, or how is listening connected to communication? So, let us understand the relationship. First of all, if we focus on listening right from childhood till the time we are receptive enough to decode listening, we must focus on listening. One who focuses on listening develops a certain level of concentration because his cognitive level is alert. He is intellectually prepared to listen to what he hears. Therefore, he starts listening intelligently, decoding intelligently, and when he does this, there is the direct effect of retention. This retention becomes almost a permanent retention because he understands what he has heard, what he has listened, he has decoded it, and he has retained it in his memory. For example, a child who listens to the word cat or a doll and identifies these objects with the word or the sound remembers it permanently. Such is the effect of proper listening. Listening and retention also brings control over one's activity. When we talk about concentration, concentration means it is an active effort on the part of the listener. He controls his this different aspects of listening. He removes the unwanted part which may come from outside a sound. He controls his unwanted memories, ideas, thoughts, which can have a direct effect on his listening. Therefore, this physical activity called control is also exercised, and when you exercise such active controls on your activity called listening, you start learning how to communicate well, how to use which expression, which word, in which event, and therefore the person becomes an expert in good communication. But good communication does not happen automatically. There are barriers, there are many obstacles in effective communication, in good communication. The first one is hearing problem. This is a physical problem. If one's ears are not effective, if it does not absorb sound properly, he will not be able to hear and his entire activity on listening will be hampered. The other barrier, which is very common in human beings, is rapid thoughts. The moment we focus on an idea, there are simultaneous parallel thoughts which come inside our heads. These have to be controlled, and total focus have to be exercised on the particular topic. Sometimes an overloaded message can disturb the process of listening. What do we mean by overloaded message? When a message becomes heavy with too many unwanted messages, it is removed from the main point of focus, and therefore listening becomes disturbed. The listener finds it difficult to remove the unwanted parts of the message and take the correct, the needed part of the message, and it becomes a problem. The next in the next point, we have egotism. What is ego? When a person becomes self obsessed, he thinks too much of himself, he is too proud, he feels he is too important to listen to other people's words. He thinks he is right always, and he does not pay attention to other people's talks, words, ideas. But if we are aware of this defect in our personality, if we try and become more level headed, we can overcome egotism. For this, we come to the next point, correct perception. Perception is our outlook, how we judge a particular idea or a thought or a speech. Any message should be taken from correct perception. We should be open to every thought, every idea. There should not be any emotional attachment to these ideas like hatred, jealousy, anger, preferences. If we have unbiased approach to a message, we would have correct perception, correct outlook to the message, and our listening will be objective and not subjective. Next is wrong assumption. Sometimes we begin to listen with a wrong idea. These ideas are formed either through social preferences, social teachings, religious teachings, the teachings of our family. We start to correlate these assumptions with a particular message. Therefore, we must not assume before the speech or the message has ended. We must not think that the actual message is going to be wrong, it is going to be harmful, etc., etc. At times, cultural differences can lead to poor listening, particularly in when we are dealing with different languages. Then it can be a little difficult when we have to decode a foreign language. We may not understand we may not do justice to the main meaning, the core idea of the message. And lastly, lack of practice. By lack of practice, we mean that practice means to train ourselves. If we are self trained to focus on a particular speech, to focus, to concentrate on listening, automatically when we are listening, we shall be able to go deep down into the activity and not accept superficial listening. How to overcome these barriers? We must be conscious to avoid the negative aspects during the act of listening. First, we must be physically and mentally alert. Our body and mind should be under our control. We must not pay attention to the outside activities. My mind must not stray away from the main activity of the listening. If we start practicing this, then body and mind will be correlated and it will absorb the act of listening. Next is, we must avoid preconceived notions. Obviously, this is connected to the perception level. This is connected to our ideas, preconceived ideas, which is guided by our society. We must not be biased about religion. We must not be biased about nation. We must not be biased about people when we are listening to some message. In the third place, we have mentioned external interferences. By external interferences, we majorly mention the physical interferences like sound, like conversations from outside, It can be TV, it can be radio, it can be a microphone, it can be a huge noise which blocks the activity of listening. The next part involves the listener himself. We must encourage the speaker either by signals, physical signals like a smile or a nod. We can also ask a few relevant questions and prove to the speaker that we are listening and we are very ready. We accept what he is talking about. These are areas where the speaker can be encouraged. Next, one must be patient. Before the speech has ended, let us not judge. Let us not be impatient about the idea or the viewpoint of the speaker, and we must not make premature judgment about the whether it is right or wrong, whether it is correct or incorrect. That leads to selective listening. When we listen to any message, sometimes we consciously select a part to omit. To us, that is not important. We need not pay attention. And we select a part to which we think we must attend to, we must pay attention. We select the areas of important and unimportant. Selecting the areas of importance and areas of non importance can affect the entire process of listening. And lastly, we must remain in the present moment. To remain in the present means we must remain in the present moment physically, mentally, emotionally. That goes back to the first point which we had discussed, that unless and until our physical, emotional, mental level are engrossed in the process of listening, listening is not total, it is ineffective. With this short talk on listening, we conclude this session where we have discussed how listening is connected to the business of communication. We have discussed how difficult the process of listening can be because there are barriers, and we have also discussed what are the ways to overcome these barriers. We thank everyone who has been with us. Thanks a lot.